Greetings fellow Mechwarriors. Today it's the Direwolf, also known as the Daishi, or Great Death, as the Draconis Combine nicknamed it. This is my Clan Wolf colour schemed version of the 100-ton Clan Assault Mech. This is the big boy. Now, build-wise, this is slightly different from the standard. I took out the 4 medium pulses and upped the 2 Ultra AC5s to Ultra AC10s, but kept the 4 ER larges and the LRM-10. Basically to give me a bit of a better short-range punch, although less ammunition obviously, and also to manage heat, because 4 medium pulse lasers with 4 ER large is incredibly hot. Which was just as well, because this map is not the coolest, although it is my favourite Caustic Valley. So the Direwolf, well, it's 100 tons, so expect this thing to take a horrendous amount of punishment and keep going, and also expect it to pretty much dish out an incredible amount of punishment in return. A one-on-one fight with a Daishi is not recommended. I mean, it's bad enough trying to take on an Atlas one-on-one, but a Daishi will tear you a new one, and it will leave you crying in the corner. It's obviously incredibly well armoured. It can have a stunning array of weapons for all ranges, doesn't matter what approach you take. When you engage it, the best way to engage a Direwolf is in numbers. It does have its drawbacks, of course. The classic low slung arms for the clans, which is a big deal and a bit of a learning curve if you're more used to some Sphere designs that have arms that are a bit higher up. This obviously has a rather squat sort of shape, which is very easily also mistaken with Warhawks. They have a similar kind of silhouette. I like to think of it though that the mech is sort of a grown-up version of the Adder. If you look at the two in game, they do have very similar cockpits. But the Direwolf has other drawbacks. One of them is its speed. Even the Atlas can run rings around the Direwolf for speed, and as a result, on larger maps, the Direwolf can actually be isolated if a team isn't aware of what's going on around them. And if you, a good example would be Terra Firma. If a team decides to go wide on that map, the Direwolf is pretty much dead in the water, that you can't keep up. Even speed tweak, I think, will only push you to about 54 kph, which is tabletop standard. As it is in the moment, the standard is about 48 kph, which is woefully slow. I think it might roughly be about the same speed as an urban mech, maybe a little faster, but or possibly a little slower, but it's not great. That's probably its biggest drawback, is its lack of speed, and due to that slow speed, it has a slower torso twist rate, which means if you do have to end up engaging this thing at close range, you want to try and face it in an area that you've got some space to move around in, and use terrain for cover, to make sure you don't receive any of that nasty return fire. Obviously there are plenty of builds going around for this mech, everything ranging from dual Gauss and PPCs to multiple LRM launchers to just a crap ton of ballistic slots. I've seen this thing carrying 6 LB5s, multiple Ultra AC5s, multiple Ultra AC10s, combinations of 10s and 20s. Basically, it's lives up to its name. It is Great Death, and yeah, it's a rather impressive looking mech on the field. It's not my favourite though. I think out of the 200-ton mechs currently in the game, I would always pick the Atlas. There's just something about the Atlas design that just looks way cooler. This looks Direwolf looks too clean and sci-fi, whereas the Atlas really does look like some ancient war machine that was built to put the shit up anybody it came in contact with. And the Daishi, it's not a bad mech, and obviously in a one-on-one fight the Atlas will probably 9 times out of 10 will lose. It all depends on the pilot. But yeah, it's a very good mech. You can't really knock it, I mean, unless the Ultra ACs jam like it happens here. Not a good time to have your dual Ultra AC10s jam, trust me. I know this isn't exactly tabletop specific, so I do apologise for that. I think it's close enough because I dropped 4 medium pulse lasers just to go up to 2 Ultra AC-10s. It's probably more of a detriment to the mech damage-wise than it is a benefit, but with the way the ghost heat system works in this game at the moment, you'd be very hard pushed to find a point where you would want to fire those medium pulses over the ER larges, because the 4 ER larges have greater range and more damage over time, even though the medium pulses can potentially do more. But this match is, as you can see, is starting to round up. This was actually a very good example of how to work on this map, is to pick a side of the caldera to move around and move as a group, and you'll basically either force them to stand and fight, which is never to their advantage, or you will force them around, and the people who don't keep up, they get isolated and they'd be dead. And this is what we ended up doing here. We just slowly ground them down. And I try to take a point as often as I can. Obviously speed is a limiting factor. You may think the LRM-10 is a little redundant on a mech that's mounting so much heavy ballistics and energy weaponry, but it's actually surprisingly useful, because it's good to be able to have a mech that has a weapon category, and the LRM is definitely useful to just pepper targets who may not know you're there. So, you know, they may just see those LRMs come over and they take a peek up, and the next thing is they get a lot of direwolf Dakar in the face, which is always amusing. Yeah, guaranteed people will run when they see this mech up close, unless they're in something big or they're dumb. Generally though, it's wise to stay away from this mech than it is to just try to go toe to toe with it. It did originally have a few animation issues that I remember. Sometimes it would have a rather strange animation where if the torso twisted past a certain point, the arm would clip into itself, and it would sort of cause the model to kind of freak out and warp around. They fixed that since. It's not like it isn't free of those kind of bugs though. I think what we're chasing here is a disconnect, so here's an external shot, as best you can see in the third person. It's nice to see the arms bob up and down from the the weight of them as the feet stomp across the land, and the cockpit, as you can see, is actually quite cramped, despite the sheer size of the mech. It would not be a comfortable ride, I imagine, in real life, especially when all that heat starts building up. You would not want to be sat in the cockpit. And yeah, I believe that is the round over. Let's have a look, see what I did there. It's not bad. I mean, it was a 12-1 stomp, so can't ask for any better for this series. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the Clan Mech videos. There will be In a Sphere next, quite a few then to go through, so stay tuned, and again, thanks for watching.